How to make and connect a flare. Please note that before getting started, you should disconnect the unit from power. First, remove the flare nuts from the refrigerant lines on the unit. Start with the nut on the largest refrigerant line. Be sure to always use 2 wrenches when removing or installing flare fittings. These nuts can be placed on your copper piping before a flare is made. If a line set has a pre-made flare, it is always best to cut it off and make a new flare. It is also best to use flare nuts provided with LG equipment. Using a cutting wheel, cut the copper. Slowly increase the pressure as you go, as applying too much pressure will result in a deformed cut. Holding the copper at a downward angle, use a deburring tool to remove any burrs on the inside of the copper. Use the flaring tool to make the flare. You can test the size of the flare using a flare gauge. It should fit, but not go through, the other side of the gauge. Put a little oil on the back side of the flare. This helps the flare nut tighten without digging into the copper. Tighten the nuts of the flare to the refrigerant piping, and use a torque wrench to its specifications. Once it's connected to the refrigerant piping, it's ready to connect to the unit. Now, take the cover off the right-hand side of the unit. Using the same flaring method from before, make flares to connect it to the service valves. Again, put a tiny bit of oil on the backside of the flare. Then, tighten the nuts of the flare to the refrigerant piping. To finish, use the torque wrench to its specifications.